The reason why you keep failing on your weight loss goals is because your eating habits are not allowing you to lose weight. I used to be 125 kilos and I used to eat sugary cereal every day. I used to eat a lot of pasta with a lot of cheese, and I used to drink alcohol all the time. But now I don't really do any of those things anymore. And so in this video, I want to share with you the science of habit formation so that you can change your eating habits to transform your life. In Atomic Habits, James Clear breaks a habit into 4 different parts: a cue, a craving, a response, and a reward. Now let's say you walk into your kitchen and there's a cookie lying on the table. Most people don't realize what is actually happening when they see the cookie. But when your body sees the cookie, the photons hit your retina, which creates an image of the cookie in your mind. Now in under a second, your brain is literally taking that image of the cookie and comparing it to the past experiences of that cookie that you've had. Now what happens with that memory is that you predict a reward based on how you felt when you ate the cookie in the past. And as a result of that prediction, you end up craving the cookie. You respond to the craving by eating the cookie, and that again gives you a reward. And that creates a new memory. So next time you see a cookie or you smell a cookie, you crave it, you respond by eating the cookie, and it becomes this cycle, and you end up continually eating even if you don't want to, because it becomes ingrained in your brain. And so the first tactic that you need to understand, or you need to implement into your life if you want to stop overeating and eating the junk food and eating the food that doesn't make you feel good in the long run, is to make the cue invisible. Now let's say you went into the kitchen and there was no cookie on the table. Well, the cue wouldn't exist, so you wouldn't feel the craving. And as a result of not feeling the craving, you wouldn't respond by eating the cookie, and you wouldn't get the reward. And so when you go about thinking about how to curate your environment, think about what habits that you want to have and how you can design your environment. Now you might say to me, "Oh Niam, but I can't design my environment." I completely understand that. You know, I lived in Bali for the last year. When I was there, I was able to control what I put in the fridge. I was able to not basically buy any junk food. And so the cues for overeating or eating food that I didn't want to eat were just non-existent. But now I've come home and I live with my parents. They do like to buy food that isn't ideal for getting a 6-pack, let's just say that. And I still have to manage these cues. And this is exactly how I do it. Now, what I really want to show you is how you can go from person 1 to person 2. Person 1 walks into the kitchen and feels the cue for eating the cookie, whether it's lying on the table, whether it's the smell of the cookie, whatever it is. And he reacts by eating the cookie every single time he experiences a cue. On the other hand, person number 2, he's able to experience the triggers, so maybe seeing the cookie, maybe smelling the cookie, maybe walking past the shop that sells cookies, yet he's able to not react and respond without eating the cookie. Now, how is this possible? So the other day, I went to get my MOT done and it took a bit longer than I expected, and so I was waiting at a coffee shop and I'd only had a coffee all day. Then I had to go shopping to get some groceries for the household. And because I'd only had a coffee all day, I was feeling pretty hungry. And so when I went shopping, I ended up buying a ton of stuff that was not really necessary, let's just say that. I bought some agave syrup, I bought some hummus, I bought some random stuff that I don't even eat. And the reason being is because I was hungry. Now, most people don't realize this, but our decisions and our ability to act or not act on the triggers that we experience on our day-to-day life, whether we're on holiday or whether we're eating out, is not constant. It's dependent on the internal state that we have right now. And so the way that you can be person 2 and not be person 1, the person that is constantly reacting to all the triggers and always eating the cookie, is by managing your internal state. So that begs the question, how do we manage our internal state? Now, the way that I manage my internal state is through something called rituals. And the reason why I use the word rituals is because it means custom or ceremony, and it has this connotation of being something that I have a commitment to. And the reason why I use the word ritual is because the language that we use to describe the actions that we take gives those actions the meaning. And so when I say ritual, it gives it gravitas. It means that I'm committed to doing those things on a daily basis, even when I don't really want to do it. And so the first non-negotiable, let me ask you a question. Imagine if there was a drug that you could take and you had to take it at the same time every single day, and it didn't cost you anything and it didn't really have any side effects, but it just made you feel unbelievably better. It reduced your cravings, it reduced your hunger, and it made you eat less, then would you take it? Now, if you're not an idiot, you probably would say yes. Now, I won't go into the scientific studies in this video, but sleeping enough and consistently will dramatically reduce the amount of cravings that you have and reduce your reactiveness to the triggers around you. Now, I'm speaking from experience here, because when I am underslept and I haven't been sleeping consistently, I'll walk into the kitchen and I will smash food, to be completely honest with you. Yet when I'm slept, when I'm rested, when I feel like I've actually prioritized it, I don't have that feeling. And so having a bedtime is one of the most powerful things that you can do in your life to just feel better generally, because it is upstream of every single other behavior. Whether you go to the gym, whether you eat well, whether you have energy for work, whether you have focus, all of these things are downstream of your sleep. All right, so the second ritual, and I'm not gonna go too much into this, is exercise. Now, you know that if you exercise and you move your body, it's gonna benefit you. It's gonna make you feel less stressed, it's gonna give you energy, you're gonna have less cravings. Yet, few people do it regularly. Now, I was speaking to a mate the other day and he's a little bit overweight and he doesn't exercise at all. I was like, oh, when are you gonna get into the gym, mate? And he was like, I don't know, I don't have time, I need to look after my son, Sunday's my only day to lie in. And he rattled off those excuses very quickly. And what I learned from that experience of just talking to him is that we have these barriers in our mind, and when we need to do something that he's in the medical profession, so he knows that he should be doing this. He knows that he should be exercising. When I asked him that question, he was able to rattle off these barriers so quickly, because even though deep down he knows he probably should be moving his body, he comes up with these excuses because it stops him from being uncomfortable. And so if you're not being consistent with the exercise that you know that you should be doing, then question the beliefs that you have around why you're not doing it. And if you do have these beliefs and you are feeling this resistance, then I completely understand, because I've been there before. I remember the first time that I went to the gym with my friends in my first year of university. I refused to go on the gym floor because I was too scared of everyone thinking that, like, what the hell is this guy doing here? He's not in shape, he shouldn't be here. And something that you can do to make it easier for yourself to actually get into the gym and do the thing that you're meant to do is just reduce down the habit to something that is so simple to do. For example, you can just aim to show up instead of aiming to do a full 1 hour workout. Literally aim to walk around the gym for 30 seconds, because if you give yourself such a simple task, then your brain doesn't have the opportunity to throw up the resistance that is going to stop you from being the person that you want to be, and eventually stopping you from having those cravings through the modality of exercise. And the third one is the 5-minute pause. Epictetus said something, and if you don't know who Epictetus is, he's a Stoic philosopher from Greece. And he said, it's not events themselves or things themselves that upset us, it's the opinions of them that do. So often when we overeat, often when we snack, often when something happens in our life, we end up resorting to food for comfort. But the reason why we resort to food for comfort is not because of the things themselves, but it's because of the opinions that we make of the things that happen. So for example, maybe I get fired, and I've been fired twice before. In that moment, I have a choice. I can either see that as something really bad, and I can be like, oh my God, I'm fired, and I don't know what I'm gonna do, and I could really feel really stressed about it. That is a choice. Or I could view it as, well, I'm fired. I can't control that situation. I'm gonna make the best out of it. I'm gonna use this opportunity where I'm not working to work on myself, work on, my side hustle, whatever it is. And so a practice, and I use the word ritual again, that I've been able to be consistent with over the last few years is meditating on a daily basis and sitting down for 5 minutes at least and focusing on my breath. Because when you do that, when you sit down and you focus on your breath, you have these thoughts that arise. But when these thoughts arise, you realize that you are not your thoughts, and you create separation between yourself and your thoughts. And as a result of that, when the bad things do happen, you don't have to identify with the feelings that you experience when the bad things happen. And as a result of that, you can separate your actions from your feelings. And because of that, you don't act on your cravings, and you become that person too who is less reactive. If you want help changing your eating habits, becoming a better person, then click the link in the description. You can have a free one-to-one call with me. We can have a chat, find out where you're stuck, and build a plan for the next 90 days to make you a better person. If you're not interested in that, then that's completely fine. Click the link here and check out this video where I share the neuroscience of motivation and how you can transform your life.